What's up, guys? I'm going to talk about a baseball play. I'm going to try to get through this quick and throw a little bit more information out there. The college football slate tonight, there are a few games, some interesting ones. I lean to Cincinnati. I will throw that out there. It looks like the pro bettors are on that side. The favorite has flipped from BYU to Cincinnati. I think it's not really a situational play. I think the feeling there is that's probably like a numbers play where guys are thinking that the 3-1 BYU team is overrated. And Cincinnati's only 2-2, but they're favored on the road. Obviously, the books are telling you, even when the line was out originally, BYU was a slight favorite. The books are still telling you they think Cincinnati is actually the better of the two teams. I think the consensus from the guys that do the power ratings is that BYU is not as good this year. They're a bit overrated. They beat Arkansas, I think, but if you look at that spot there, Arkansas, I think, had a huge look ahead to LSU there, so that could explain why Arkansas didn't play well in that game. BYU had a pretty solid upset in that one. And then Cincinnati lost kind of inexplicably to Miami, Ohio, which looks really bad. But if you think about that, Miami, Ohio is like a younger brother type of situation. They're a little team in the same state in Ohio, so they had that little brother phenomenon going on. They went all out and wanted to beat Cincinnati, and Cincinnati had their first Big 12 game ever up next, the Oklahoma game, which is what they had last week. I don't know that there's... So that's why Cincinnati didn't play well against Miami, Ohio. They had to look ahead to Oklahoma, and Miami, Ohio really stepped up and wanted to beat the in-state bigger brother there. My opinion, I think that's what happened. Cincinnati, I don't think they're going to be in like a hangover effect or anything like that off of the Oklahoma game. It wasn't as close, but they played defense pretty well, so that's the one thing. Oklahoma had been scoring a lot of points against some cupcakes, and their offense had looked really good, but Cincinnati was able to keep them in check. So I think Cincinnati is the better defensive team here as well, so it looks like Cincinnati would be the play in the Cincinnati BYU game in Major League Baseball, which is where I actually have a play. I'll talk about two, though, because I might actually wind up with a second play, but I haven't seen any actual lines on Dodgers-Giants yet, and that's a situation where I think the Dodgers are pretty much locked into where they are. They've won their division already, whatever. They don't really have much to play for. The Giants, at least, have something to play for in that, hey, we get to play against the Dodgers. It's our final series or whatever. Giants might want to play well against one of their rivals there, their division rival, one of the better teams in the NL. So they might want to put in a good performance. But it's mostly about the pitching matchup in that one and the fact that I think the Giants were off yesterday while the Dodgers played. So the Giants have the extra rest there. And the pitching matchup, Giants have Keaton Winn pitching. I think he's a rookie. He's only made, I think 4 starts, although he was a reliever for a little while. Only 4 starts ever. I think the Dodgers only have one hitter who's ever faced him before, and it was for one at bat, maybe in one of those relief appearances. I don't know. But that's got to be an advantage to win, where the hitters have not seen him before. Advantage to the pitcher early on, the first time facing the hitters. They tend to not know what to expect. And Wynn has pretty decent strikeout numbers, strikeout to walk numbers that I like to look at. So his command has been pretty good. He's been pitching pretty well. And he's up against Lance Lynn, who I think is a terrible pitcher. His stats this year are awful. Although his stats were worse when he was on the White Sox than they are since he's been on the Dodgers, but still not very impressive. He's kind of a junk pitcher, doesn't strike as many guys out. He's putting way too many guys on base still. Not looking that good, and he's kind of towards the end of his career. I mean, he's not as effective as he was way earlier in his career when he was on St. Louis and whatever. So I would lean to the Giants there. There's a possibility I actually play that. I don't know what I expect the number to come out at in that game would be, but we'll see with that. The actual play is going to be my Boston Red Sox, who are out of it. But if you look at this situation, Baltimore just clinched the AL East, did it against the Red Sox yesterday, and now the Red Sox have to have a rematch against them today. Baltimore was celebrating. They don't win the AL East very often. I think it's been a while since they won it the last time. So that was a celebratory win. They were celebrating for sure after they beat the Red Sox to clinch the AL East last night. So now I think they're going to be in that like letdown spot. They don't really have as much to play for at this point. Red Sox at least kind of have pride to play for and want to beat their division rival who just got their 100th win, whereas the Red Sox are below 500 at this point. And I think the pitching matchup is pretty good for the Red Sox, I would say. John Means is pitching for the Orioles, although I think only half of the Red Sox lineup or so have actually faced him before. But he's like a 30-year-old. He's been around for a while, so there is at least scouting on him. There's footage on him. He's not like a great pitcher, although he's been effective enough, but not really a guy that's out there like blowing people away or anything like that. Whereas the Red Sox, even though I have made fun of him a lot, I don't tend to like this guy, but Nick Pivetta pitching for the Red Sox, he's actually not been that bad. Like, I was actually surprised looking at his stats this year. His ERA is actually higher than it probably should be. His strikeout walk ratio is actually really good. His amount of strikeouts, like strikeouts per 9, is actually quite high. So he's been striking guys out. He's actually been pretty effective almost all year. And if you look, I think going back into like May or June, he's only allowed 4 earned runs or more in like 1 start, which is like really crazy. So he's actually been pretty effective. So the Red Sox are an underdog here. They came out, I think, as a much bigger underdog, so there's some value that's been lost there, but I got them at plus 116. Looks like the number's kind of fallen down after the Orioles had clinched the division there, so I think a lot of the pro bettors kind of have the same feeling as me. The motivation is going to be kind of off of Baltimore now because they clinched the division, but I still like it at whatever the underdog price is for the Red Sox. Yeah, I think the value is on that side. Boston Red Sox plus 116.